solo leveling propaganda machine has been working extra hard these last few years, dating back to 2022 for me, when people around me were viciously glazing the manhwa at the time, swearing on everything that it'd completely take over when the anime was released. Even back then, the hype was undeniable, and those motherfuckers were right too, because when the anime finally got released, it quickly became all anyone was talking about. With season 2 fully underway, and after about a year of holding out in staunch contrarianism, god damn they finally got me. So fine, I'll say it. Solo leveling is some fucking gas, and I want to talk about it. Specifically episodes 1, 2, and 12, which I feel are the culmination of everything about the anime that keeps you coming back for more. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it so the algorithm can suggest it to more people. Comment down below what you thought about solo leveling, and subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this and anything else I come up with in the future. You already know the drill by now. I don't plan on holding back at all this time, so be warned, there's spoilers ahead. Everyone loves a good underdog story. There's just something about watching someone work their way up from nothing to everything. We love seeing it in sports, like when the We Believe Warriors took down the top-seeded MVP Dirk Nowitzki-led Dallas Mavericks in the 06-07 playoffs. And we love seeing it in anime, like when Rock Lee showed Gaara exactly what could happen when you work hard enough to achieve your goals in the tuning exams. Solo leveling takes that feeling and runs with it in the best way, because our main character, Sung Jin Woo, starts off the series being unbelievably pathetic. Let me lay a bit of groundwork. About 10 years before the start of the series, mysterious gates started appearing all over the world, with powerful creatures immune to conventional weaponry called magic beasts lurking on the other side. And the only thing capable of stopping them were humans who awaken magic powers, being ranked S through E based on how much power they can wield and what level gate they were able to fight it. Sadly, our boy Sung Jin Woo got stuck with an E rank, like the very bottom of an E rank, so much so that he earned the title the weakest hunter in all of mankind. I don't know how this motherfucker was able to go on after having that label slapped on him, because I'm not gonna lie, I would have faked my death and dropped off the face of the earth. I mean, this nigga was so weak, other hunters would see him at the gates in preparation for a raid and let out a sigh of relief because they knew the dungeon wouldn't be so bad. Even then, my boy was still struggling, being put on the brink of death after fighting a regular degular goblin, the weakest possible enemy in the weakest available dungeon. But no matter how many times they fucked up, he kept coming back for more. My boy had a sister to put through school, a mother whose fate was constantly in question, and a father who was nowhere to be found. He was handling his business and doing exactly what he needed to do, no matter what the cost, and even if he would walk away with mere scraps compared to everyone else, it was still something. I personally feel like that's why a lot of people connect with solo leveling so much. We're all underdogs in our own story, and watching someone face that type of adversity and still keep pushing through, man, that shit's inspiring as fuck. All of that would start to change the day his party came across an incredibly rare double dungeon, and even amongst those, this was entirely different. They soon found themselves in the middle of some ritual room, surrounded by giant mysterious statues, all centered around a notably ominous one representing some kind of deity much larger than the rest, all with a set of 3 laws instructing them to worship the damn thing. One member of the party even swore that thing's eyes were moving, but of course no one believed her at first. It starts to really hit the fan once the door slams shut, and when some dumbass starts thinking that he's Mr. Big Britches and tries to leave anyways, he's swiftly met by one of those statues with a complimentary axe to the head, putting an end to any idea that most of these guys were getting out of here alive, and quickly sending the rest of the crew into a justifiable panic. As if that wasn't enough, in an instant the deity shoots out its max level heat vision, eviscerating anyone it comes into contact with. And the only reason more people didn't fall victim to it was the fact that our boy Jin Woo was the only one who noticed the damn thing coming. You see, being the weakest one in the room at times tends to mean that you're always on your toes, and thanks to that, he was the only one capable of reading that situation to any degree. The first law states to revere God, and after being shown what can happen when you don't show that thing some respect, everyone finally bows down, putting an end to the death rays, allowing them to finally let out a sigh of relief. That was just the beginning, and with a sickening smile on its face, the deity begins to personally stomp out anyone who has the displeasure of standing in its way, leading to the second law: praise God. Fortunately, while the deity was catching bodies left and right, Jin Woo figures out that in order to praise God, they'd need to go to the statues with instruments, but only one at a time, causing them to light up and play, pleasing the deity, leading to it sitting its big ass down for the time being. Too bad this show didn't end there. There's still one more law. Prove your faith to God. Suddenly, an altar appears in the middle of the room, requiring the survivors to stand in the middle, and after what appears to be a timer begins to count down and the doors finally open, the statues around the room menacingly begin to approach the altar. One by one, the survivors begin to run out of fear, which is understandable. I mean, none of these motherfuckers know what the hell is going on, and with Jinwoo being the only one left, he gets viciously jumped to pieces, putting him on the brink of death once again, being stabbed and tossed at the altar, having his life come to an end with one final blow. The entertaining part about Solo Leveling is the fact that what you just saw was only the beginning of the story. By displaying the courage to withstand such a massacre, Jinwoo is fully healed and rewarded with the option to become a player, a special distinction that comes with its own set of rules. For example, he's now given a set of daily quests, requiring him to complete exercise goals, and failure to complete them could lead to life-threatening punishments in an entirely different location. On the other end, once Jinwoo started completing the daily quests, he begins to receive bonuses and boosts to his physical stats like strength and vitality, making him stronger little by little. He begins to dwell on all of the reasons that he has to become stronger, like finding a cure for his mother's eternal sleep disease and the sickening feeling of being so weak compared to his peers. Jinwoo begins, wait for it, solo leveling as he starts to venture out into dungeons on his own, going from barely surviving an encounter with a pack of low-level goblins or Steel Fang Lycan to taking down the boss of a D-rank dungeon. He even gets the opportunity to flash just how far he's come by nearly single-handedly breaking the guard of an enormous dungeon boss that broke through one of the gates, leading to the rest of the struggling hunters taking the beast down and being left befuddled at the fact that they were able to survive. He starts learning new skills and techniques like dash, an ability that lets him dramatically multiply his speed, and stealth, another that allows him to completely mask his presence to almost anyone around him. Jinwoo starts to throw around more aura than he's even aware of. All the huhs from his down Junhee to the nurses in the hospital start falling for a real nigga who starts getting his life together. Other lower level hunters start putting respect on his name as they bear witness to some of the crazy he's able to do now, like single-handedly taking down the boss of a C-rank dungeon. As we watch his confidence grow, Jinwoo is also faced with some really tough decisions. You see, not every hunter in this world is the same. There's some really bad motherfuckers out there who would callously kill their fellow hunters, and when some of them are unfortunate enough to try that shit with Jinwoo, he's forced to show them what a real demon looks like, even if it means chipping away at his humanity little by little. The system had that man turning into a nonchalant nigga right before our very eyes, but none of that matters if it means Jinwoo gets to achieve his ultimate goal of saving his mother. No matter how insane this power fantasy gets, our main character has a mission, a purpose. He isn't just getting stronger for no reason, he's taking on dungeons like the S-rank demon castle for the sake of his loved ones, and doing so will require that he surpass his limits time and time again. The end of season 1 features the culmination of everything he's learned to that point against his most powerful opponent yet. On his journey to become more powerful, Jinwoo has had to overcome some dangerous opponents. It hasn't been all fun and games either. He's had several close calls with death, but what he's about to deal with is much more than he was prepared for. When beginning the next step of his training, the Job Chains quest, he's put up against Igris, the Blood Red, the knight that defends an empty throne and an absurdly powerful magic beast that's faster than Jinwoo, stronger than Jinwoo, and probably gets more and stacks more paper to the ceiling than Jinwoo too. This motherfucker spent most of the fight dog walking this nigga Jinwoo for just keeping it a bean. He had this man pressed. Not only was he Weave Nation certified, but even if Jinwoo managed to get a hit, his armor was just way too powerful. This dumbass even thought his hands might be enough to get through all that armor. After all, that's what worked against the goons from the previous room. But determined to make sure this beating was as disrespectful as possible, Igris throws down his weapon and prepares to personally apply belt to ass. Jinwoo could barely hold on. He tried to press back, but Igris wasn't having all that bullshit, telling him him to get that weak shit out of here. And when Jinwoo finally manages to get a good hit in, he somehow shifts it into a whole nother gear, beating the dog shit out of this nigga, dragging him face first through the wall before throwing his ass across the room and telling Lil Bro to sit his bitch down. Things start looking pretty bleak as Igris draws his weapon to prepare for the final blow, but just before he can put an end to it, through sheer will, determination, and a little bit of anime bullshit, let's just be honest, Jinwoo makes one final push, stabbing Igris through the head and sending him all the way back before unleashing a barrage of jabs with his dagger, inflicting as many debuffs as he possibly could, capping it off with one final blow, giving every last ounce of effort he had left, defeating Igris the Blood Red. It would have been great if that was the end of it, but this dungeon still has one final challenge, and that's to survive an onslaught of endlessly spawning armored soldiers. If it wasn't for the fact that Jinwoo never completed his daily quest, that man would have been hooping with Kobe. As punishment, he gets sent to another map, forcing him to survive the somehow much more reasonable challenge of giant desert centipedes, giving him the opportunity to use his potions, stock up on new weapons and skills like a blade that's highly effective against armored enemies, and the ruler's hand, the same technique Igris was using to traumatize his ass before. With his second win, Jinwoo finally figures out the trick to the endlessly spawning guards, quickly using the ruler's hand to eliminate the mages responsible, taking down the great big fuck off golem they threw at him because why not, putting an end to this job change quest and being rewarded with a necromancer class? But hold on, the system was low-key cooking, and Jinwoo quickly realizes that too. Turns out that endlessly spawning army ended up being put to good use, the mages too, because thanks to this new class that also gets upgraded to Shadow Monarch in the process, Jinwoo is able to extract the shadows of every single one of the soldiers and mages that he had defeated before, allowing all of them to become stronger as he does. And when Jinwoo eventually tries that shit on Igris, he wasn't having it, refusing to bend the knee so easily. Even then, Jinwoo stood on business, refusing to accept no for an answer. And with one last call to arise, we get one of the coldest scenes in the entire first season. Season 1 of Solo Leveling is exciting, and with Season 2 hitting some insane peaks right now, I took the opportunity to yap to you guys a bit about it, and once you get into it, you won't be able to shut the fuck up either. There's a lot to look forward to here, from fights that only seem to get more and more hype to new and engaging information about the greater lore at hand. Don't get me wrong, I'm just here for the vibes, but there's a greater message in Solo Leveling that speaks to anyone trying to improve your lives. You'd be surprised how doing something simple like daily push-ups and sit-ups consistently can trickle down into every part of your life, and it's mostly up from there. Solo Leveling is the type of anime you watch and then go get some shit done. Believe the hype, it's that good already, and there's still so much more to come in the future.